next deal as well. And that's the long-term success when you look at it from a marketing standpoint. So mechanically, we provide basically 3 lead sources for you to meet people, right? The first one, I'll keep saying it. You guys are all on Google page 1 in the Platinum group. You guys are all listed with your emails. They can call the 800 number if we get something directly for you, and feel free to use it in your marketing materials. Some of you that shoot video, we're switching out your videos on the front page to help add with your credibility because our traffic is so high right now. And we are starting to see that rollover effect of that funnel long term. Now, for individual markets, I can't tell you. I can tell you the averages of people I've talked to that have done this long term as well as myself. It's really an interesting process, the way I built out the RED program. But I think what is most important on that front page, I would take a wild guess that 80 to 90% of you watching this or watching the replay don't have a website, right? So you're immediately on page 1 and just saying the word Home Advocates, and your email is present. All they have to do is type in the 800 number, use the 800 number. We'll send you the exact package and call directly to you. That's number 1. So that's a conversation that has to be discussed. It is my experience running this particular, what I call the face-to-face funnel, right? What do? I work for Home Advocates, right? Google it. Open it on your phone. We've gone through it, and I've even shot the video, and I use the technique quite a bit in my daily life of what do? I fix broken real estate is always my line. Wow, what's that mean? We work with people who've missed payments or really ultimately are kind of disenfranchised. And I'm sure I'm going to be corrected on that word if I got it wrong, but that are not happy with the way a typical realtor or a typical investor works. So our goal is to provide good information so that you, the seller, buyer, renter, landowner, have a more informed opinion of what to do next. If it works out, if I'm an investor, seller, buyer, whatever, I'd like to have that conversation, right? When I meet someone for the first time, that's pretty much my basic layout, right? Like, what's your interest? Are you thinking of selling or buying? And what we've tried to do with the group, and this has worked out, is put this community together where people share information, where we create content, and so that you can have that initial conversation. And I think there's something to be said about that. The very basic, talking about it on the street every day is always going to be your best lead source. The minute you leave the office, the minute you leave the house, go have conversations. Let someone ask you, what do you do? And that's why we spent so long yesterday and this week of staying up on current events, right? That's method number 1. Method number 2, of course, which is what we're really getting to today, is what we call the monster process or the 12-step process, the HLA, right? All of those, they're all the same. I built it in 2010. It's gone through many different versions of it. The process is very simple. And you basically submit your email to Derek, get leads sent to you, go put out tags, print them out. They're already pre-done with an 800 number. The call center will then set up the appointment for you. Once you do that, you go on the appointment, which brings us to the point of today. There seems to be some confusion as to what to do or when you can ask them for the listing. My opinion, and again, you can do whatever you want at the door. I'm just telling you the highest conversion rate possible. Your first appointment, and this is to quote my former business partner, David Bartels, my first appointment is to have my second appointment. there is math and studies that they have run. Okay. And I'm going to give you two psychologies about the script. The first one is the law of reciprocity, right? Giving somebody something of value, they will feel more inclined to give something back to you. The second is they did a study of how many times people need to be talked to or touched before they take action. So the script that is provided in the step-by-step process, when you go through your one-on-one, when you go meet with them that week, go with the intention of educating them, give them the alternatives to foreclosure, give them some proof that they are in default. Don't be shocked when they tell you. I believe one of our students this week went through the website, and I think he's got a sale date on May 12th, and I got it all set up with an attorney and everything. And they're not receptive. I go, well, yeah, they need to be kind of receptive to that. Like, it can't be an aggressive, come fix it now. But I don't know what that's, your time is too valuable. There are too many people out there. I'm not saying that they're not a good lead. I'm not saying we can't give you a referral. I'm not saying things can't be fixed. And again, I'll say it, tag them all the way up to the sale date being the day you put the tag on it. You don't know if they're going to file bankruptcy. You don't, especially with missed payments. And that's what we target with that system. So in your first meeting, I think the education is important. And can I bring you more information and meet with you again? And again, the number one closing line in that script is, I just want to know one thing before I leave. What did the bank do to you? Right. And that'll get you, 45 minutes to an hour of how it's not their fault that they missed payments. Set up your follow-up, bring them more information, gather an email if you can, if it wasn't provided in your lead that you got via email. Keep your database clean. All you need is a spreadsheet, right? You're all done. You're all done at that point with meeting number one. Which takes us to meeting number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. This is where I think everybody gets confused. There is a statement within when you take Red Cross life-saving technique, to not jump into somebody in the water. And I'm watching this play out with somebody right now. Don't jump into the water and save somebody who's drowning if you don't have any experience with it. Right? So what do? I'm going to do the short sale. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Your next biggest resource at whatever they've requested, forbearance, loan mods, lions and tigers and pixie dust, oh my, does not matter, right? The script is laid out pretty cleanly, is to provide them that information and ask them what their next plan is. And they go, okay, I want to do this. Okay, would you like help facilitating that? Right? Not saying you have to do it. You guys always go deep water on this historically for literally 12 years. What is it? 12 years of this? 12 years of this now. You're doing loan mods. There's no upfront fees. You're killing yourself with the bank. And I'm sure all of you who have done that have learned something very valuable. You're going to be the person they blame when it doesn't work out. And that leads to a Yelp review. That leads to a call to the Department of Real Estate. Right? You got to be very careful about saving drowning people. Okay. I will say it and I'll keep saying it. I think one of the biggest assets you have, just like Isabel was asking, I got the new listing. I'm going to need your help. Cool. Let's set up a Zoom meeting and talk to them. Okay. I'm very easygoing with the red people. Just click the link. I'll figure it out if there's 2 meetings in that week and they need to talk to a banker, right? Shooting on one day and I'm talking to someone else on the other day. Great. I completely understand that. I think that's one of the biggest assets for you. But you've got to ask, what you got to get them to the point of, the video's up, and maybe I'll send it out again this week. The call that I did for Tina Herman's client. Again, where you want this, but you need to know about this, right? When we're talking conversion, I think that there's something important to be said about you need to know the two ends of the spectrum on the topic. You want a loan mod. Great, right? However, you also have to realize you might have to sell this, right? Like you have too much equity in the house, or you can write off your debts. We're starting to see some short sales happen, which is really interesting. People are taking out very weird second and third lien positions. HOAs are behaving very badly. There's a lot going on in the market. Everybody's very aggressive to collect money and to evict right now, as we told you that it would be in May. This was sort of the launch point. Please take advantage of these resources. But when you get to it, you know, put a beginning. This is where you want me to start. Cool, forbearance. You realize that if you don't qualify for the forbearance, you've got this much equity. Like you've got to give them the full range of that. And if you don't want to be the bad guy, I believe the term is bad cop, good cop. Good cop, bad cop. Okay, got it. I am more than happy to be the bad cop. And I don't mind it, actually. So with that said, stick to those scripts, stick to being consistent. There are many of you on this call that I know do this, and I would prefer you not do it. Stop trying to do loan mods for free to save people. It's nice. I think it's very cute. I think it will only cause you pain down the road. My personal experience. And if there's an attorney already involved, or worse, they're an attorney and or a realtor, I would consider not working with that client just based on my personal experience. I'm not saying they don't need help, and I'm not saying they don't need our help. I'm just saying the numbers are increasing. I'm watching the tagging rates increase, right? And I'm looking at the appointment rates increasing. The conversion rates are higher right now. You guys can easily put out 2 sheets and have appointments this week. And you really have to be a little more consistent with it. With all of that said, just follow the scripts at the bottom, which takes me to Red People. Red People are a little different, right? So they're creating social media content and they're creating a background story. So theoretically, your calls coming in should increase, right? How it should work. I think it'll be subtle at the beginning for some of you. I don't think anybody's going to go, hey, I just saw a video of you and this is why I'm calling. But I go online, and anytime I see something from anyone, they don't tell me it's you. They just say, I watched the video online about this topic. Great, right? I capture the info, get it to the advocate in that area. That's just the way I run it these days. And we're watching that turnover. So these things are all changing and adapting. I think the problem is always qualify before face-to-face, right? When you're walking on the street, you meet someone and they say, hey, what do? You have the opportunity to do the conversion. You can do the qualifying there. Certainly with the stepped process, same situation, right? Once you're face-to-face, you're in the sweet spot. When you're talking social media funnel or even a referral by phone, like we send you a hot lead the way we set it up, or we get you an email, hey, what's the situation and how can I want